Morning, fellow zombies. All you emotionally deprived and sleep deprived. How we doing this morning? It's your zombie out here in Roseman, California. It's the 25th of July, 2022, 2:43 in the morning, roughly, if I can see through these damn glasses of mine. The Weaver John C. speaks. What's going on, guys? Okay. Am I going to be griping and grumbling about another wonderful day that's went to hell in a handbasket? Probably, but I'm going to tell you some things. I keep coming across different ideas that people on Facebook are still talking about nervous and mental. Now, normally, let's see, back up on that one. A long while ago, before I designated this channel as a grieving channel and talked about my griefs and depression and stuff, I had mentioned about mental health, or mental illness anyway. It's still the same thing. And I knew I was suffering through it. Didn't know how to figure the damn thing out. I knew something was off. Really couldn't quite talk to Mom about it. Really couldn't talk to David about it. Even when I did, I felt like I got laughed off or something like that. But I know Mom and Dave would never laugh me off. But they would never ask me what the hell was going on to see if I needed help with anything either. I mean, growing up as a kid, to a teenager, to an adult, we all had our issues and we didn't even see the damn things. My brother went through the issue, so it was the major issue, which was alcoholism. He'd been to nearly the jaws of death and got torn himself apart and came back as a living corpse because the drugs and alcohol took him to the brink, but not quite crossing over. He damn near came to that point. And he was lucky enough, people actually put him in a psych ward for 3 days, 3 hots and a cot, just to see what was going on inside of his brain. To see if he was stabilized. And would he get help? And he recognized that he needed to get help. That's why he came back home. He got into it while he was in the service. He had to deal with a hell of a lot of issues over there. And a lot of it not good, and then other things was service related and combat related. But they all took a toll on him, all throughout his life, up until the point of death. And he was actually able to be recognized, and Ma recognized him having problems because as a younger kid he exhibited a little bit of those issues of having issues and being able to be seen. Yeah. Hearsay, stories, rumors. Confirmed? Not that far. But he still needed it. Some people thought he needed a kick in the ass. And then again, he'd go across and kick in their ass. Yeah, that was my brother right back then. And as an adult, he'd still kick their ass. Even worse. Military training does that to you. But he still wanted to be his lovable smartass, and eventually he became that. So, and how he dealt with his is still being figured out. I mean, he's already in heaven at this point over here. At least I hope he is, and dealing with it because he had to deal with a hell of a lot of issues when he was growing up as a kid. A lot of them. But now, I was the latest star in the family's problems. The medical issue. But nobody thought of it at the time. There could have been psychological issues. There could have been. But nobody figured it out because there was no science. If there was a science that picked it out, they didn't see it. Not even a medical establishment. They didn't give a shit. I mean, if my pediatrician actually figured that some of his kids that he kept saying might have had mental health illnesses, even with traumatic medical problems, come on. We were handled as white lab cub syndrome. It was just nothing. It was just nothing. So when I came across the posting on Facebook this evening, uh, in the times when I'm being, wake up from an hour here, an hour in there, and you just have to find a way to get back to sleep, right? So I scroll through the crap, and I'm going on to one particular site, and I got a lot of people trying to agree to this one particular posting concerning about how people were treated regarding mental health. And I had to keep telling people back then, and now it's different. Now, back in the 60s, when we actually had a governor named of Reagan, you remember him, he used to be a famous star, famous athlete, famous star, and famous president. He closed down in California our nut houses. Basically, anything concerning about mental health illness was nothing to them, nothing to him. That's why we got so many people these days, because they shut out the damn funding for all these places, and the places either got deteriorated or got repurposed into something else. So if we actually have any hospitalizations, we're lucky enough to have inpatient hospitalizations. We're lucky enough to have any long-term treatments for them these days because of budgets from different administrations. I'm not doing the politics on which side to blame at this point. I'm saying decisions made concerning about budget funding. Because how much does it cost to treat a person for nervous and mental compared to how to treat him when he's dead? You want to treat him alive, fine. But if he's going to be going out there trying to kill people left and right, that's a different story altogether, isn't it? But we have one party still screaming about it, but they really don't want to scream about it. They just want to cause... I guess I am getting into the political shit at this point. But they really got to take it seriously enough, because a lot of us have it. We don't even recognize it. We don't even know it. We don't even feel about it. Society wants to just brush it off. Despite the fact that we had shrinks out there trying to form the basis of Psychology 101 we've got today. Even then, it was a new science, and they were trying to figure and map the brain of people and trying to explain behaviors left and right. They were the forefront of trying to figure out man's nut jobs. Why we were so crazy. Why there was no adequate way to treat a crazy person. Except to lock them up. Try psychology, try group therapy sessions, one-on-one, just to see where their issues are. Some of them were just broken. They were just broken on the inside and out, and didn't know how to relate with life and reality. Hell, I mean, a hell of a lot of times I was like that myself. And losing my brother in 2018, the pinnacle of losing people left and right, and changes left and right happening in my family, in my life, had turned me into almost a crazy person. I had to find different ways myself personally to get myself into a somewhat of a area of sanity these days, because it's crazy. It's getting crazier and crazier outside. I can't tell reality from the normal people and what's supposed to be normally accepted. We all want the term normal. We all try to understand what normal is. Normal is commonly accepted. All right? Commonly accepted, which means a whole bunch of us understand mutually what behavior is supposed to be and what behavior is not supposed to be. This is the layman's understanding of this shit. But we being screwed up human beings, are we doing it right? Not necessarily. We're screwing things up left and right. Why? Because we can't understand what the hell's going on. Because if we actually did understand what the hell's going on, maybe we had an understanding of why shit happened in the first place. But we don't, so. Can we understand why a childhood trauma would lead up to a behavior where it would have to be manifested in a particular activity or outburst of sorts that would or would not be considered normal? People worry about themselves being normal, so they have to take medications to feel and be normal. You get them prescribed, or from other places probably. As for myself, no, I don't take the medications. I hadn't seen a doctor concerning about that situation. And when I had seen a behavioral health therapist, she really wasn't quite convinced I was a nut job. But it took her a few years to understand I actually had PTSD. I had to declare it, I had to show it to her, I had to demonstrate it. I had to give her my past. And I point blank at her at this point. You tell me, how does a 4-year-old deal and cope with open heart surgery and dying on the table and coming back to life? You tell me if a kid is not going to have behavioral health problems at this point. You tell me if he's going to be mentally screwed up at this point, and you're going to wash it away with white lab coat syndrome? Because every time a kid goes into the doctor's room, and the blood pressure goes skyrocketing, there's an allergic reaction here. There's a mental or physical or both reaction in the brain when it comes down for something being encountered, such as doctors, hospitals, rooms, smells, sights, specific items, anything regarding medical in those kind of environs would trigger this feeling of dread, of panic, of run like hell. Because my life is threatened. My life and my sanity, my well-being is threatened on a constant basis. The constant fight or flight. Me. As I said before, these channels, I'm talking about myself and what I've experienced at this point over here. And what I see on Facebook these days, concerning about the pages I'm running into, concerning about addiction, concerning about nervous and mental, concerning about, and grieving at the same time. I'm telling these guys what's going on. How I lived, how I survived, what happened to me. Because I'm trying to share the experience, strength, and hope at this point over here. Not to profit off the damn thing. But telling people my side of the story. Just in case they want to identify with the damn thing and say, I understand this guy's problem. Or I can relate to this guy's problem. I can relate to what the hell's going on. And then finally feel some kind of probably not justification, or probably will justification at this point over here, that I'm not the only one going crazy these days. And I would probably feel part of it. Normal and crazy. But we can't use the term crazy anymore, can we? Because that particular point is a stigma. We can't use that stigma on people. We can't use it on people who are suffering through mental health. We have to be more specific about it. I hate to tell you, but we all are crazy, okay? Even the normal ones who can't decide what normal is. Even with our society called society, can't define itself, can't figure itself out, has to divide itself left and right and put itself under a microscope just to see what the hell it is anymore. So why is it the crazy people have a little more insight about what goes on? Because we see it. We feel it. We see the systems. We see the people trying to function in it. Robotic as usual, or trying to feel human, but they have to feel robotic because if they happen to feel, that's a problem right there. Feeling, emoting, no, that's not allowed. That's not allowed in a society at this point. We have to be robotic in thinking, in form, and fashion. We have to be pretending all the damn time. We're con jobs. We're liars. We're show people. We are acting all the damn time, and yet we don't even go into an acting studio to pretend to other people. We just turn it on because we don't want them to see the real us. When you're going on Facebook, and I'm going on Facebook a lot, I see the responses that people do. They're not going to be opening up that damn zipper and pouring everything else out like I usually do. I said usually. Some occasions not. Most of the time I am these days. Because I'm pouring out my heart and soul and understanding the problem more and more what these guys are talking about. I say, no, it's dangerous because they'll use it against you. They'll use it against you. Let them go use it against me. What do I got to lose? Your credibility. That's already shot to hell. What else? Your identification. Well, my identification's shot to hell. What else? Your life. I lived my life. What else? Money. Oh my God, let's go freaking over that one, shall we? Let's go freaking over the time when we have to worry about every damn dime I've got. Yeah, right. Give me a fucking break. So I get sick and tired of that bullshit too, all the time. I do. Drives me crazy. I may have talked about a lot of things. I may have talked about crazy things. And people probably think I'm crazy. But you know what? Maybe I am. I know I have been suffering a lot. And doing things. Well, you never seen a guy trying to clean out his damn eyes while he's doing something on camera? Clean out the sleep junk that goes around his eyes? You try seeing from beyond that stuff. Drives me nuts. Nuts as in irritating me a great deal. Differences. How you use the words, how you use the connotations and denotations. Denotations is something specific. Connotations, you're putting a generalized term on it. So, I had to tell people how I was treated back in the past and how I perceived the doctors as they went through stuff. As I get older and I learn more and more about history beyond my own birth, behavioral patterns, how people are treated, if there was any bedroom or bedside mannerisms, wasn't exactly extended to the youth because we had to grow up tough. We had to be tough in the doctor's offices. We couldn't behave, or actually misbehave. We couldn't freak out. We couldn't panic. We couldn't go psychotic if we needed to. If our biological and mental health systems were screaming at us to get the hell out, we had to shut them down because we had to be behaving all the damn time. We couldn't go in as a nervous and mental case. Coming in there like, what are you going to do to me, doc? What are you going to do to me, doc? Kid, Will you settle down, or otherwise I'm going to send you out of here? Oh, please do. I don't want to be here. Doctor, my Timmy over here needs this done. You going to do a procedure here? Nah, it won't hurt much. Come on, I've heard it too many times in my youth. I heard it too many times growing up as a kid. Yeah, I usually wail on this thing a lot in some of my videos. I talk about this a great deal. As much as I give the doctors credit for saving my ass and for going all out in the surgeries, trying to save my ass, it is still emotionally and spiritually and physically traumatic. I mean, death is definitely that. But then the life or nearly life or death situations I faced afterwards wasn't so fun, and it still hurt like hell. Of course, they could put in so much pain relievers or freeze up something so I can numb the pain, but it's still there, and it's not to be talked about. You just have to live through it. You just have to live through it and survive. That's all. You have to be tough. 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 Everything you got to be tough, 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 tough. You got to be a tough guy. We got super people here. You kids, come on. You got to follow the superheroes. They're tough. They deal with it. I hate to say something about the superheroes in the comics. They went through a hell of a lot worse shit than we did. But they demonstrated something that the writers tried to demonstrate to the adults and the kids. They're a human. They felt. They emoted. We weren't. We were robots. We're biologically robots. We couldn't feel. We couldn't think. We had to act. We had to do remotely. That's how it was. That's how it was. So I talk about it. I said it a long time ago in my other earlier videos. I am no expert. I'm no guru. I'm going through my life experiences right now. I got no academic letters. I've got no professional grades with me to tell you that I am an expert in this damn shit. And I'm not looking for the money aspect either. I'm just sharing my experience, strengths, and hope. I'm sharing my observations at this point over here. I'm sharing my memories. I'm telling you what I'm going through these days and what I went through back then. Maybe somehow people will understand. Or maybe they won't. I don't know. But I just wanted to get the message out. It's hard enough going through life when you realize that nobody else gave a shit back then. But supposedly they gave a shit. I could not get against my mother or my brother. They didn't know any better back then. My brother had to grow into it. From the stuff he had to go through and experienced. And then discovering he needed help right after the military. And then he got some help. Some help. But because of what he did in the military to get himself screwed up with a discharge, it couldn't help him out any further because it just almost put him to the street and say, survive, pal. That's about it. Oh, you'll get a license, you'll be able to get a house or rent a place. But that's what you're allowed. You're no longer a veteran, you're garbage. If you wanted to get out of the military fast, this is the way to do it. Otherwise, we could have put you through more. And because of shit happening at home, he wanted to get home. He didn't realize how much of it was going to be biting him in the ass. The hard way. And it did. And he didn't like it. And he couldn't survive through it. But some things he could qualify for. Limited. And he struggled with it. All his life. Till he's dead. I'm looking across at a blue chair that used to be his bed. recliner. He broke it in and he broke it. Apparently used it as a bed, but he did. I don't know what to do with it. I'm reminded of a lot of things in this place that gave memories of both good and bad. I've had people talk to me online about changing perspectives, trying to change them into positive. It'd be nice if we actually change ourselves into positive, If we actually were positive. Were we positive that we were going to be positive, or were we positive we're going to be negative? Doesn't make sense to you? Well, how do you think it makes sense to our screwed up minds? We had to conform, we had to comply. We had to deal, we had to form, we had to function, we have to be something. We had to exist in some kind of format. Because without that format, society never knew how to deal with this. And I'm talking about the people who are suffering through the mental health illness and through no fault of their own. The military vets, well, some of them knew they were going to be signing up for a hell of a lot of shit, but they didn't expect to get a lot out of it and had to deal with everything else afterwards. Nor did family expect to deal with a broken person coming back trying to be normal again, and yet not normal. How do you deal with that? Well, that's another video right there. Maybe later. For right now, I had to get this off my chest. I may be considered period crazy, but they look at me and thinking I'm normal. There was a lot of people, a lot of actors and other people, I guess, who are considered normal or maniac because they used a lot of energy. But behind it, they were still broken, and you never realized it until it was too late. And they didn't want you to know that they were broken inside. Because how does a broken person deal with a robotic society? We were that controlled with our emotions and our feelings that we can't express. We can't break down. We can't collapse. Because if we do, we're broken people. And society doesn't want a broken people. They want form and function right now. That's all they want. Sucks, doesn't it? But this is reality. This is what I perceive. This is what I observe. And this is what I've been studying all my life, one way or another.